Hello guys, welcome back to possibly the last Omen guide on this channel, unless Haven comes back or unless a new map comes back where it's meta on. And for this last guide, we're just going to be doing it on Split. And I think this is a map where Omen has the most frag potential out of any map. Maybe I'd say Lotus is a close second, but on Split, you can do a lot with Omen, especially with his TPs. So yeah, let's get right onto the attacker side. So for A, there's a lot of places where you can push and have your impact with your Omen util. And the first thing is, the most common thing you'll probably see, and the most common flash I would say in the game is this Ram's flash here. Firstly, when you're doing it, make sure that it covers everything, because a lot of times Omen will flash this and someone could be playing right on that back box and not get flashed. Same way as they could do too far to the left and this whole right side wouldn't be flashed. So make sure it's perfectly in the middle and right on this ping, and just throw your flash, I would say, kind of over this site here is good enough. And then usually that'll be followed in by a ray satchel. The other flash you can do is just one right here, and this should flash basically anything roughly around that close side. Bear in mind, anything in this close corner won't get flashed, but that corner, in my opinion, could be pre-aimed quite easily, and anything behind this sign, I reckon, is a lot easier to flash, and it will have a lot more impact, because they can basically be hiding behind anywhere. They can swing from any angle, so if all of this is flashed, your team are going to be living. And in terms of smokes, it kind of depends. For a full sight hit, the default smokes you'll see is this CT smoke and this Heaven smoke. But this smoke here, if you smoke it yourself, there's just so much you can do around this smoke. It's actually crazy. You can take all of this space here for free without worrying about anything here. And you can sort of filter your way here without really even needing to be seen at all. If you obviously smoke it perfectly, then you can kind of get straight here into ropes without being seen at all. Because usually you aren't going to have anyone here hard watching you. So if you do it kind of like this, sort of, like you can kind of filter your way through here, straight into ropes without getting seen at all, and you can actually have a lot of impact around that smoke here. Really easy rotation as well, even being caught. And I recommend before you even enter this smoke, just to double cover yourself, have like a sky dog through it, because most of the time you will have sky on this map. If not, have a fade prowler. You don't ever really see Sophus on this map, so you can't drain or dart it, because Sophus really weak on this map. So yeah, I'd say these two smokes are the most common smokes you're gonna see. And Omens, you take way too long to smoke. CT, this smoke should be smoked off the moment anyone is here. So you want to be doing that smoke kind of 2-3 seconds before, like after the barriers drop.
Cover going out.
And this smoke, I would smoke a little bit later, but I would smoke these very quickly if you're doing a full sight hit, to be honest. Try sort of as quickly as possible. Because the amount of times I've been up main and been opt here, and my Omen's just been kind of sat there not smoking anything, and smoking Heaven first before CT is something you never want to do. You always want to be smoking where you're going to be peeking into first. So always smoke off CT or screens, whatever you call it, and then smoke off Heaven, like this.
Cover going out.
And this smoke is super good because you can sort of TP in your smoke as well, or you can have like a jet updraft and dash into it, or a satchel up into that smoke, and it's really strong. You can catch a lot of people off guard with it. I recommend only doing it maximum twice every time you're attacking on split per game, I would say. But ideally you only want to be doing it once. Yeah, I'd say that's mostly what you could do with them. And for holding this site, there isn't a crazy amount of TPs you can do. You can kind of do this one, and this one I like to do kind of if I have this smoked, and as the smoke's going down, I would jump down, because they can kind of be anywhere around. I could see from here. There's too much to have to worry about, and you would have to make too much of a crazy shot. I don't always recommend playing up here, but this could work, but you're kind of exposed from too many places. But I mean, you can maybe get away with it, but I would recommend doing it personally. So yeah, I'd say that's kind of what you need to know for Omen on the A hit, to be honest. You could also smoke this and hold from here, if they're already out CT.
Here.
Because if you're like, I would recommend holding it directly from this corner, because most of the time they'll pre-aim or spam it. You can obviously, if you're taking ramps with your team, you can get up there, but you don't need to really use your TPs for any of this stuff. So yeah, anything you need to know for A. Let's move on to mid and B. So for B, the smokes I'd recommend doing is just this one here and CT. I wouldn't recommend doing any other smokes for this site on attack. And for flashes, it depends how you're pushing. If you're pushing and you have a sage wall like this, I would recommend just flashing like this into backside here, because that's most likely where they're going to be playing, and then you would have to clear all of this by yourself. Maybe not on Omen, but your teammate will. But if you're not walling this, and sometimes this sage wall, if you have a sage on this map, is quite limiting. I would kind of just like line my flash up so it flashes either kind of underneath like this, because it's really good, because this is a very common angle people play. People don't normally play like here kind of thing. Like, I've never really seen anyone playing on this sort of ledge. I see people play on this like left side a lot of the time, so always be careful of this. This is kind of all you really need to know for me, to be honest. It's quite a self-explanatory site in terms of pushing it. In terms of holding it, there's a lot you can kind of do on Omen. I recommend if you're playing backside and your team's kind of forced on this sort of edge on the map, you could actually throw a good little smoke straight on top of here, and it just means they can't see into backside or anywhere here from heaven. You've got all of this kind of side blocked off from heaven, so you don't have to worry about getting killed from here, and you can kind of focus on CT, and you would have your backside player holding this smoke. And so that's how that smoke would work. And that's quite a good smoke, really, to be honest. I wouldn't really recommend smoking anywhere else. You could try and catch your opponents off guard by TPing like this, or you could kind of just, if you want to play a little bit more aggressive, you can TP on top of here and push with your smoke, especially if you're lacking numbers, but you have the site, you can maybe get a cheeky 1 or 2 and pull back down into site and win the round for your team. Try and catch your opponents off with a little TP play every now and again if the round calls for it. Give it a go, don't be too scared. If you have, and eventually you're going to be building that confidence anyway, so you're going to be doing those plays more often. You can also TP on top of this box and try and catch your opponents off guard for heaven, and you don't have to worry about CT because pillar covers it. That's also a good play as well. And also, I forgot to mention for A side, but you can also save your flash for +1 as well, because that blinds them, and you can TP off your flash as well and they won't hear it. It was quite effective. So yeah, those are the B site tips for Omen. Now for mid, in terms of flashes, this is kind of the only flash I would bother doing for mid, and this will be supported in by a satchel or something, and you'll be helping your teammate take the space here with that flash. This will flash anything in tower if you want to go from mid to B. The most standard smoke I see on Omen is smoking off vent.
Cover going out.
And this is a good smoke, but if you want to switch it up, a really good play to fake out your team is to actually smoke off mail.
Shadows traveling.
And bear in mind, always clear behind this box as well, like you usually have a rat playing here. But obviously don't have this smoke at the same time you smoke mail. But you can actually take vent, maybe take the space, and then you can actually go back into your mail smoke and fake him out and play B. And this is a really good fake play, and I see this a lot in very high ranks. And this usually works 90% of the time. It's quite hard to really predict this play. But if they smoke off mail, if you smoke off mail, take vent, maybe get a kill on anyone playing vent, and then you get yourself back into mail. Or you back up all the way and go through sewers onto site. I'd say that's more of a passive play, to be honest, where you can kind of just play numbers. That can be really strong. And once you've taken this space, you only will have 1 smoke left, and obviously just use it for CT. There's only the smoke heaven when you've already taken it. But bear in mind, once you've taken this space, don't then all go onto site and lose this space. Maybe have 1 just sort of here, 1 or 2 playing heaven for the control of the map, and maybe get 1 on the take. Because 1 will most likely try and like up vent and catch you off guard, and then you would have loads of people going from here, from stairs into heaven. So yeah, a lot of things you can do. Also, this off angle kind of catches a lot of people off guard. The only drawback is if you have no one watching CT, it's a little bit risky, but it's very rare you get caught off guard from CT before anyone's like peeks you from heaven. And I'd say those are the main 2 mid strats I see. You can either smoke off vent and just all the way bundle into B, or you can go in your vent smoke and just take vent and go to A. Or you could smoke off mail and fake a vent push and go back B. Or you could also just take A, but I recommend doing the fake and then going A, because they'll expect you to fake again and take B. And they'll probably have more of the numbers on the B side than on the A side. So yeah, I'd say that's like all you kind of need to know for Omen on mid. I wouldn't really say there's a lot more you can learn. So yeah, on to defense. So for the A side, there's 2 kind of smokes you can do. This is the default smoke, just this choke point here. But if you want to play a little bit more aggressive and take a lot more space at the start of the round, I would say this is a much better smoke to do that. Because your duelist can easily push up from main, you can push up from ramp, and just kind of have this space. Maybe force them to rotate. If they have flashes, be ready to turn away from them, because that's a skill you're going to need to learn if you want to rank up. If you turn away from all flashes and be ready to fight anyone, it'll be very easy. Obviously there are some flashes that are just not dodgeable, like some KO flashes can be super hard, but I'd say those are the kind of only 2 smokes you need. And obviously for flashes, you can just like flash this whole side for
Blinding.
your duelist if they want to get some free kills. Like over time, if you do that once, they'll probably be more careful next time. So it will just be a suicide mission if you was to do this kind of play again. But for once in a round, this could definitely work when you're around for free. And in terms of off angles, for any agent, you can kind of play here if you want. This is a good off angle.
Here.
Bear in mind, always consider what they have. So they can clear you quite easy. You can play here on Omen. You can play up here as well. You can play like sort of here. Another good off angle is literally just by right over here on this left corner, because they'll probably have pre-aimed for the center of the box. If you're all the way to the left, they won't have their crosshair placed all the way and you'll get a free kill. Another off angle that I never see anyone play, but this always works for me, is
Here.
in this corner here. Even though no one will ever like be pushing ramps. Like, when do you ever do this and then have like that cleared? You know, if someone's here, they're not gonna clear you and you'll get a free kill, guaranteed. And especially a good thing, because you're on Omen, you can get a kill and you can like literally TP all the way back into ropes. And maybe smoke this off
Cover going out.
sort of here so you can take that space back and maybe fall back into CT so you're not just stuck mid. And you're not, because they could have one pushing mid and you can get pinched. Yeah, that's quite a good off angle to be in, to be honest. You can also sit elbow and use your flash for when they tap bomb as well. Also, you always get creative with your flashes and your util. And for TPing, there's not really a lot I can show you other than the 2 TPs I showed you. One on top of here. I'd say on top of this sign is a little bit risky, especially if they have ramp control. But if they're kind of all going sight and you have someone watching ramps, don't be scared to play up here. It's quite good. And you can obviously play in this corner, but I'd only play here once. And I'd only play in this corner if you're kind of like feeling yourself and you know you're going to react to them fast, because 90% of the time they're probably going to clear you. Unless you're in a lower reload, then it will probably work. But I'd say that's kind of everything you need to know for an A push. I'd say the B site is also really good for Omen. I'd say it's better in terms of how you can use your TPs, because there's far more elevations you can use. And the only smoke I'd really recommend doing is just the smoke for B main here.
Here.
Obviously, this just smokes off any of their push, and if you're gonna have someone holding mid anyway, so you don't have to worry about anywhere else. In terms of angles, you can use your TP on. You can TP up here. You can TP up here for an angle for a kill. These are two really good TPs. You can also quite easily get a kill from this off angle. I'd recommend, if you're doing this, hold it all the way from the right side though, because most of the time, like, they're not gonna be full like clearing you like this. They're gonna be more sort of centralized to back sight. So the moment you get a kill, I would just either jump down and then TP across and hope you don't get like really unlucky with them spamming you through the wall, or you could just sort of TP across straight away. Bear in mind, they'll see you TP and they could maybe re-swing and trade you. So if you're gonna play an angle like this, I'd always have like a teammate there ready to like either trade and keep the numbers advantage, or just to like swing off of your contact as well, maybe get a couple and have a full numbers advantage. So yeah, it depends how you play it. But I'd say for flashes as well, you could also flash all of lobby. Try and like flash sort of similar to this when you are flashing.
Blinding.
Because that kind of gets everywhere they could be standing from for this push. More or not, they're not going to be stood on top of like this box all the way here. This is the only place where it doesn't flash. This flash will get anything here. If they're holding here, a lot of people like to hold this ADS and try and like get a free pick for anyone peeking. And they especially like to crouch. I always crouch here as well, because most of the time people will be pretty in head height. So you can catch a lot of people off guard by crouching. Yeah, you'll basically flash all of this and you can maybe just like have a jet dash across or something and get a few kills off your flashes. You can obviously hold from like up here on rafters as well. This is quite a good hold, quite a good angle you can play on. But bear in mind, you could get flashed, and lots of skies like to kind of bend their flashes around to pop here, and then they'll swing you from here, and they'll probably have a raise who had already been satcheled out, swinging from 2 places at once. So bear in mind for that. So if you are playing up here, I'll sort of filter your positioning, so you can only be swung from here, or you could only be swung from like here, like straight away from the choke point. So yeah, that's what I recommend for playing up rafters, to be honest. And I think that's kind of wherever you're going to be playing in terms of B. I don't think you're going to be playing anywhere else. You could obviously play here as well, but this is like quite a very one and done risky angle. You can maybe get like, it can maybe work for a round, but it won't work beyond that. So yeah, I recommend as well, if you're TPing up places, always have your teammate to maybe shoot through the smoke or try and bait for you as much as possible, because it just makes it less likely that they'll clear you, and you'll like definitely profit off it, and you'll get a few kills off whatever angle you're holding from. So yeah, that's everything you need to know for the B push onto mid. So yeah, for the mid hold on Omen, this is like the smoke you're going to be doing most times. You can play behind this box, but I would always recommend that someone will be baiting for you on mail. If no one's baiting for you on mail, you'll more or less of the time always be cleared, and this will not work. So only play behind this box if you're going to have someone be baiting for you. Same thing with this off angle here. If someone's baiting for you on mail, this will always work. You can't really have someone bait for you on vent for this angle, as mail and vent are two separate things in the enemy's mind to clear. If no one's baiting for you, there's like a 5% chance you'll get lucky, but never play in these two angles unless someone is baiting for you on mail. You could smoke this and try and maybe take some space earlier in the round if you want to take mid. You could test it early. Yeah, with mid you're gonna have to get really creative with your smokes. Like if you're not gonna be doing a basic one here. And for flashes, I wouldn't really say there's too much flash potential. Like you could flash this, but this isn't gonna be flashed. And anyone playing from sewers is gonna have a free kill if you don't pre-aim them. And by the time you peek sewers, the people that are here will be unflashed. And most of the time as well, if you're holding from vent, you will be smoked off as well, because this is like the most common smoke from mid for attacker side, so you'll always get smoked off nonetheless if you're there pushing from here. So yeah, I'd say Omen, just smoke here, let them take it, have two people holding from here if you want to play mid on Omen, have someone bait for you mail if you want to play in this angle, or have someone bait for you on mail if you want to play in this angle. And with those two angles, you can more or less trigger discipline. Don't just instantly start shooting the moment you see one. You can maybe wait for 2 or 3 to walk past, and then sort of like look where their heads are, and imagine how you're gonna aim. Because that can actually really help you with your aim. If you're like planning your shots before, you're way more likely to hit them if you're trying to like rush your shot, kind of. So with those two angles, you can more or less trigger discipline, is what you call it, where you don't shoot straight away. You kind of let more walk past, so you can kill more. Yeah, that's how I would kind of hold mid on Omen, to be honest. But most of the time, you shouldn't really be holding mid on Omen because your util is just better for anchoring sight. And you would kind of have like maybe a Sage, or if you have like a Viper on this map, kind of hold this mid push, to be honest. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. And with that, we reach the conclusion of this video. If you found it useful, it would be greatly appreciated if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And this will be it now for the Omen guides, as Omen isn't really meta for any other map. And for smokers, I would kind of say Viper, Brim are probably better for the maps I have remaining to do smokers on. So if I'm doing Bind, I'm going to be doing a Brimstone guide. Breeze and Icebox, I'm going to be doing Viper guides for those two maps. So if you're interested in those, always stay tuned to the videos. And obviously, I can do any agent other than like Deadlock, because Deadlock isn't very good. Just leave your comments and the suggestions below, and I'll try and get back to all of you and do any sort of guide if you want to learn how to play anyone as well. So yeah, peace.